Hello, everybody. Today, I have the pleasure to talk with Jhonatan Bringas. Jhonatan Bringas is a doctor, a kind of doctor that is specialized in technology. So, welcome, Jhonatan.
Thank you, Guillermo. Very nice to be
So,
here.
tell us a little bit about you, how a medical is running the digital transformation in healthcare globally. Tell us a little bit of your background, please.
So I'm a Peruvian medical doctor. I migrated to Europe some time ago. And through my migration, I started to work in medical technology companies. I was at the beginning, it was curiosity what brought me to medical technology companies, and later it was a little bit of a vocational thing that actually made me stay. And I've been developing myself several technological skills in the last 10 years that have helped me to position myself as a key opinion leader in medical technology in different companies and also in different sectors. So I worked for several, small to middle-sized companies in the Netherlands, and also in Finland and other countries in the world, that created medical technology solutions as a chief medical officer, as a medical director. And after that, I decided to join forces with some other very interesting key opinion leaders in the sector of digital health, like Raphael Grossman, which was the first surgeon that operated with the Google Glass. Like David Fernandez, is the engineer that invented the injection with a needle. Some former ministers of health, and we created a consultancy that has been helping companies to develop their solutions in digital health, and at the same time, it has been helping hospitals to transform digitally and learn what are the services that I have to actually implement in my own center to really be scalable and to be able to deliver different solutions, but also like prepare for the future. So we've been doing this together, and I'm also the co-founder and chief executive officer of a digital therapeutics company and digital biomarkers company called Lapsi Health in the Netherlands. So that all that experience has really helped me to be able to position myself and consult several companies in the world. And that brings me today to this global digital week.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about the experience to create a startup of digital health. These kind of startups are intensive in capital, are different than other startups. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I mean, I think digital health startups, that depends a little bit if you are developing hardware or only software. The necessity that you have in capital, for instance, can be completely different. But digital health startups are right now. There's a lot of them. And I don't think still that there's enough of them. The thing is that everything you see in a hospital, you see radiology, you see cardiology happening, and gynecology. You see several types of imaging and laboratory techniques to diagnose, and several types of treatments and modalities that happen inside of a hospital. You can say that there are hundreds of types of medications for different types of diseases. All these solutions, they have a digital counterpart that can be created for these specific diseases. So what we started to see in only telemedicine, and then catalyzed by the COVID-19, has actually sparked the creativity of medical technologists and developers. That then what it has created is actually a sort of like a train with its own inertia of really developing digital solutions. So then it went and it moved towards remote patient monitoring and some other technologies of digital health, wearable technologies, the whole individualized health solutions. But you can see, for instance, what Apple Watch and Fitbit are trying to do with individualized health towards digital therapeutics. It's really very interesting how it has been developing. Everything is startups. What I would say is that one thing that really encompasses every startup in digital health is that there are several products that have been created at the moment. Some of them are still in development. The development of a digital health product is very slow. because it has to be validated, it has to be registered, it has to be regulated, and then it has to be reimbursed, and it has to be piloted in hospitals or countries. So what that brings is that whenever you develop a digital health startup and you are looking for capital, for instance, from investors, you have to also keep them very much realistic on when you might start perceiving, turnover, or when are you going to be perceiving sales. A digital health startup has to be very focused and very specific, but at the same time has to be very realistic that development happens in a long period of time. But what we see in the ones that have already managed to escalate is that they really achieve amazing exits. So that's something to really look up to in terms of digital health and how it's going to be developing and behaving on its own. I think that what the bigger companies in medical technology will try to do is acquire, maybe, to just become as well competitive in that market, and not lose the chance. But then there will be other ones like Teladoc that will just grow and rise as real and individual market leaders in terms of digital health.
Okay. And could you share some cases that you notice that are improving the services, the health for the people? Do you like some platforms?
I mean, I've seen many solutions being created, and I have the honor to consult many of them. One of the things that I really like, and I also have helped develop a platform on this, is remote patient monitoring. I think that there's a lot to win from that. Patients that are chronic or that have to be followed up by doctors through frequent consultations. They don't get the same level of precision. And in the era when we're trying to develop precision medicine through genetic testing and through constant laboratory tests, digital health can also give us a lot of feedback and data that we can use and we can create and make actionable to enable that precision medicine. So what remote patient monitoring does is they accumulate all these vital signs and digital biomarkers of people, and then they trend them and they report them, so the doctors can see on real time, whenever they are giving a specific treatment to a patient, if the treatment is actually making any progress, or if the patient is getting worse or better. When they can decide to change treatment, they can decide to maybe send the patient to another specialist, or send them a laboratory exam, complement the therapeutic. There are a lot of opportunities that remote patient monitoring can give to the providers and to the patients. And what that generates in the patients is that it increases their outcomes. It makes it it makes the diseases be better treated, and because of that, they would actually be also manageable for the patient. They give them the sense of security that they are being monitored constantly. They give them also the possibility to go to the hospital or receive attention before complications arise and before emergencies arise. And what it does is also reduces the costs of hospitals and insurance companies. It reduces mortality and morbidity. So in general, remote patient monitoring has proven to be an amazing polypill, and I think that it will generate incredible traction in countries like Latin America, where distances are so big and the centralization of hospitals are so terrible. I think that these patients can be monitored at distance. As long as they have connectivity and a smartphone, things can happen. Which is, I think, the next step for Latin America is probably to enable that connectivity can be, available, and that patients are, smartphone savvy, so that then the companies in digital health can really implement these solutions together with the hospitals and the regulators, and make this a little bit more of an affordable and efficient way of keeping track of your patients. And that's one of the solutions that I've really loved. I've seen many companies in that space. You can see Huma. Cardiolize is a company that I've been working with that does remote patient monitoring in cardiology that is tremendous, with a tremendous potential, utilizing AI algorithms to actually analyze ECG. And then you see also other companies in the same space. And of course, there's other solutions like digital therapeutics that just came out We saw the rise of digital therapeutics through the pandemic. There
Yeah.
have been companies that have been creating digital therapeutic products way before, but because of the catalyzation or the catalysis that created by the pandemic, we can see the digital therapeutics has gotten their attention on their own. Companies like Achille
Mm-hmm.
in the United States or Happy Tech that are creating, Happy Fi Health, that are creating really incredible solutions based on mental health issues and
Mm-hmm.
behavioral science. Basically, what digital health is doing is, and I think I told you this before, but I'll say it in this interview as well. When you study medicine
Yeah.
and you get taught by a teacher about how to treat a specific disease, you usually have to learn how to implement medication for a specific patient or disease, but also you have to learn about the behavioral changes that a patient has to do. For instance, if a patient has hypertension, they get this and this specific medication, but they also have to change their nutrition or their exercise or their toxic habits like smoking or drinking. So that's whole behavioral science. And what the apps are doing right now is basically they're enabling that behavioral science and making it more easy to adhere by patients through different digital solutions. And that's something that will also be very successful in terms of digital health.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And there are some cases, for example, in the fintech industry, there are some examples that the technology helped to indirectly, solve some problems like financial inclusion in many countries. There are some cases, or you notice that maybe in the near term, the technology can help in order to be to have more accessible health. Do you notice that there are trends, or what is your opinion about that?
I mean, accessible health is a good topic because Latin America is having an issue with access to healthcare. So I think every technology that exists in the market right now, whether it is telemedicine or remote patient monitoring, is actually a good uh, is part of the solution for access to healthcare. I think that in general, the decentralization of healthcare through digital solutions is one of the solutions of this issue. As I said before, there are several steps that have to happen before that, which is connectivity and smartphone usage. But I can see, and I've actually seen several projects happening in North Africa and in the Caribbean, in which digital solutions have been applied for specific populations, to decentralize several medical centers, and with great success.
Mhm.
Whether it was only phone exclusive solutions or wearable enabled solutions.
Mhm.
I think that those types of solutions will in the future be the ones that are going to create that bridge to close the gap of access of healthcare in Latin America, in the Middle East, in North Africa.
Exactly.
Um, yeah. And in terms of the like how you see access to healthcare in the United States, for instance, or Europe, you still have places where people have to drive or travel long distances to be able to see a doctor. Digital health is also playing an important role in those places to make the patients be able to access healthcare without having to travel all those long distances.
Yeah.
It is definitely revolutionizing access to healthcare, and I think that the next step is revolutionizing also diversity in clinical trials and the development of medicine itself, and that
Yeah.
will also happen through digital solutions.
Yeah. We have another talk with the Dr. Augusto Itig, that I know that you know Augusto. And Augusto tell us about the power of the telemedicine, about it is a technology that is not so sophisticated, but they really do the difference, saving lives, right? So I think that technology, maybe there are a lot of opportunities if you put technology to bring the people that they need help, right?
Yes. Basically, that's what we are trying to do in many countries. That's what many hospital systems are trying to do in Peru, in Chile, in Argentina, in Uruguay. and I think it will continue to develop further.
Mhm.
There are more things than telemedicine.
Mhm.
Telemedicine is one of those, but there, as I said before, telemedicine is just the first step inside of digital health. But there are many different solutions that will be able to enable patients to increase their outcomes, to make them healthier, to make them control their chronic diseases, and to make them be able to access healthcare when they need it.
Okay, yes, yes, totally. And finally, what do you recommend to there are a lot of different companies, SMEs companies, that they are in the industry, the health industry. What do you recommend in order to do the transition in this new digital era?
Um, Companies in healthcare,
Yeah, there are the small hospitals,
hospitals. Yeah.
diagnosis, but
Well,
not the biggest one, because
yeah.
we know that Siemens and all these companies, they have a super economic power, and super innovation and technology as well. So, but what happened with the persons that they try to move in digital? If I have a small hospital, for example, or clinic,
Yeah. Yeah. So there are always solutions for everyone in this in the different scales, in terms of digital health. I think that one of the advices that I would give to the people that are right now hospital executives or clinic executives and want to move towards the digital transformation is to first not be afraid of digital health, because I think one of the problems is that they don't understand the solutions and the systems, and then they don't want to use them because of the lack of understanding.
Mhm.
The other one is, yes, it costs money, but it
Mhm.
will save you a lot of money in the future. So whenever you want to implement a digital health solution, have a health economic study next to you. So you understand that there's going to be a really considerable investment
Mhm.
against a even more considerable saving.
Mhm.
And that's very important for hospitals. Otherwise, they don't want to implement because they feel that the costs are too high in the beginning. But what it happens is that they continue to have these over exaggerated costs of care, and in the end, it's actually completely against the benefit of the hospitals. So they have to be a little bit more financially savvy and like really run a health economic study. Um, Finally, I would say that to really be surrounded by experts whenever you're
Mhm.
going to be transforming your hospital. It's not only about choosing a solution or choosing a vendor because of the price. It's
Mhm.
also about building with a vision of the future. And
Mhm.
building with a vision of the future means that every solution that you have right now will be able to be compatible, actionable, applicable, or compatible with other solutions that will come now and
Yeah.
also in the future, because otherwise you're going to have solutions that will be uh, incrustated in a sort of silo that won't be able to be connected to your central system and will end up in the basement, and you don't want that. So to be able to be efficient and
Mhm.
strategic, you need to have a very experienced professional team around you that can
Mhm.
guide you through the process, and I can tell you, well, this is okay, this is not okay. Why? Because of this, and that. Try to, before thinking about cost, think about efficiency and function. And
Yeah.
then when you have a short list of the providers that can give you efficiency and function, then select them by cost.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you know what? There are a lot of different talks that we notice that the digitalization is increasing the competitiveness and the intensity of different competitors. In the near term, you will have maybe 100 different platforms, for one specific disease. So it's necessary to do the digital transformation as soon as possible, right?
Yes, I think it's necessary for the hospitals. What it will do is they will make them more competitive. That's completely true. While you can have a limited amount of patients doing
Mhm.
it physically, when you do it virtually and digitally, you will probably have way more patients that can be treated and diagnosed and monitored, because you do it on distance, you do it remotely, you use artificial intelligence. You don't even need people to be doing these functions, and at the same time you enhance
Yeah.
healthcare you provide more healthcare, and that in the long run will be, of course, more income for the hospital or the insurance company, but also it will give the patients a better way to be connected and to be monitored and to receive that healthcare. So it's a win-win for everyone.
Yeah.
But as you said, you have to have a team of people that has that skill set to be able to advise you correctly whenever you're going to be implementing digitally, because there will be many competitors, but at the end of the day, you need to choose something that is applicable for your situation,
Yeah.
and your group of patients.
Yeah. And there are another trends, because I noticed, for example, that there are some people that they live in developed countries, and they come to the America Latina or the south of Europe, but because the coast is really different, So I think that the technology offer opportunities, and thank you very much, Jhonatan, because it's really interesting your point of view, and we hope that this information be useful for the people. Thank you very much, Jhonatan.
Thank you.